Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I have another big mail day, and with the national being in July and me getting a little sick afterwards, it's delayed a little bit some of these mail days. And actually, I had a lot of cards that I took to the national that were raw that I actually would have showed off in the mail day, like my 1999 Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor Griffey, but I got it graded before I actually did a mail day. So unfortunately, those reveals will have to come after they're graded. So I'll be able to show those cards off once they come back. However, I do have quite a bit of cards to show. It's going to be a really big mix, sports and vintage and new cards. And of course, Ken Griffey Jr., because I always have some junior cards. Now, so this is the cards I picked up between basically June and now. And so, I was picking up cards while the National was, on the horizon during the National. So, true collectors, we keep collecting no matter what. Maybe we tone down some of the price points, but we're collecting throughout the year no matter what. So I'm going to start here with hockey. Got one hockey card. It's a cool one, though. Sign of the Times, Steve Yzerman, SP Authentic Auto. I think these are some of the coolest autos. And obviously the Gretzky version of these cards are awesome as well. Trying to see if I can see what year it was. Looks like 1999. Just love the set, and I love on-card auto. Steve Yzerman's obviously one of those top-tier Hall of Famers, maybe, obviously below the Gretzky, Lemieux, Gordie Howes of the world, Bobby Orr, but definitely that next tier, so cool to get a on-card auto of Steve Yzerman. Next up is football, and we'll start here with some vintage football. You got the 1966 Philadelphia Ray Nitschke. I may say that name wrong, but again, not a diehard Packer fan, but Hall of Famer. And the 66 Philadelphia set is the toughest Philadelphia set to find in good condition. The Jim Brown, for example, is much harder to find than the 64 or 65. So I always look for 66s, and this one came back, and I thought it was at a good price point. You see the back, you got the Guess Who quiz. So there's a lot of cool design into these cards right here. And I love the green color match on the jersey, so cool card. I always like picking up vintage football. Now, next up starts some 90's football, which we love 90's cards. And these cards are really cool. And these are the Flair Ultra exclamation points. These are really awesome, and the most recent hockey Ultra product kind of brought these back. Maybe not exactly the same design, but still cool to see that design come back, even though it was in hockey, not football. This came out in, you can see down here in the bottom, 1998 Flair Ultra. You can see the back, it's an acetate card with the kind of like spots, the little dots there of foily goodness you can see on both sides. And it's Deion Sanders. Now, I'm looking for the Peyton Manning of this card because it's a rookie year version of the Peyton Manning, or a rookie year Peyton Manning insert card. That's pretty cool. And I had the Barry Sanders of this card, so I just, I think the set's cool. May do the whole set if I can find it. Now, speaking of Peyton Manning, here we go. Here is a cool Peyton card. Take out its sleeve because it's a little damaged, and I think it doesn't do this card justice. Again, my favorite year for Bowman's Best, 1999. And here is the base refractor, numbered to 400. And they're just really shiny, cool looking cards. Really love this card. And I love the set. And you can see numbered out of 400. So, awesome card. and graded at mint 9. And I really think these refractors are, I don't think terribly undervalued, but they're definitely popular and going up, I think, in value, all the time. They just kind of keep going up a little bit at a time. They're harder and harder to get and find as people are starting to keep them instead of kind of flipping them or just kind of not caring about them and just, selling them when they get them. Next up is a modern card, which, I know people don't see me do a lot of modern football, but, this is from 2021 Impeccable. But coming from Indianapolis, this is one of those cards that really spoke to me because of just all the years I watched the Colts play when I lived in Indianapolis. And I really was a big fan of Jeff Saturday. So seeing a dual or a triple auto of Peyton, Dallas Clark, and Jeff Saturday on one card, even though it's sticker autos, still a really cool card. And I'm just, kind of a sucker for these combo cards, especially when it's players that I think are cool combinations, especially Saturday and Peyton on one card. You can see 2021 Impeccable. So it's just one of those really cool cards. And again, I go to Indy all the time to see family and see my buddies. Indy Card Exchange. I hang out there every time I go back. And, this is one of those cards that might be a cool card for me to bring with me to maybe do some trade. Who knows what they got, but it'd be a card that they probably would be interested in. All right, next up, some vintage baseball. We'll start here with pre-war. And again, you don't normally see me collect a lot of pre-war, but if I find them at a cheap price point, I'll get it. This is the one. It's a Rumar card. So it's a Hall of Famer. Came in, and again, I have this sort of like in my head valuation. Anytime a Hall of Famer in a non-authentic grade comes up for sale, like 1 or 0.5 or there's actually 0.5, but anything that's not authentic and it's below $100, I kind of feel like that's worthwhile to pick up. So I got this Rumar card now. Obviously, being a 1, it's going to have back damage, but the front looks really nice. It's got nice corners, or not corners, but nice white borders. It's presents well. The face of the card isn't messed up. So for a 1, it presents really nicely. And without the back damage, it's probably closer to a 3. So I think it's one of those cards that looks nicer than it really is. And it's it's a Hall of Famer. So those are the kind of cards I definitely look for to pick up. Next up is a card from my Pirate collection, and it's a really cool card, and I will talk about it just for a sec. But it's the 1941 Play Ball, and it's Deb Scarms, who's a Pirate. I think he's one of 2 Pirates in this set, because this is the paper version. It says right here, paper version. So in 41, due to the war, there was a shortage of paper, and Play Ball did a test issue where they issued 24 cards from this set, 41 Play Ball, on paper sheets. And so you got 12 cards per sheet. So you got 2 sheets for the set. And the idea was that the collector would cut out the cards himself and make their own cards. And it wasn't hugely distributed, but they're not impossible to find. But they're pretty rare. Like I believe there's only like 11 of this card on the Pop Report on PSA. So again, there's probably like 20, 25 that are floating around. Maybe 40 or 50 total, but that's pretty scarce for a test issue. And, there is an Archivon in this set. So another bucko to collect. But this came up and I really enjoyed the history of this card. And you can see on the back, they look very similar to the original card, except it's just a very paper thin card. Or it's actually a piece of paper, actually. So condition-wise, they're very difficult to keep in good condition. In general, most cards today are cut from sheets. So I saw a sheet sell a couple years ago for like $850. Not the sheet that had, I believe there is a Ted Williams in the set. And so it didn't have, let's say, that, the big cards on it. It was the other sheet, which actually has the GARMs, sell for like $800 or $900. So that seems pretty cheap. I think today, it would sell for a lot higher, and obviously they did a good job cutting this out. But it's a card that if you don't cut it out properly, companies don't grade it either. So I felt pretty good getting this in a 5, and just having a cool pirate to put in my set that is kind of a test issue that you don't really see very often. I thought this is just a cool pickup. Next is a card for my 63 top set. I'm putting this set together in between 6 and 8, so I would call it a near mint type set. This is card number 1, and it's a pretty cool batting leader card because it's got Frank Robinson, Sam Musial, and Hank Aaron on one card, and Tommy Davis and Bill White, which were very good players as well. So, but 3 Hall of Famers on one card, and you don't normally see a lot of cards with Stan Musial and Hank Aaron on the same card. So that was really cool. It looks pretty good for a 6, honestly. And so I thought, this card can get pretty pricey in an 8 or above. So to me, for my set, it fits in with the grade condition I'm looking for. And it still looks pretty nice. It's a little off center, but still it presents well for a 6. And so, it fit the mold for what I was looking for. Next up is another Dick Allen card, or Richie Allen, however you want to call him. This is the 69. Excuse me. The 69. And in the previous video, I did pick up a 65. So I'm kind of picking up his 60s cards. It's a very nice card. And again, his cards have gone up in value across the board. So this is definitely more expensive than it would have been 2 years ago to pick up. So it's just a fun card, and it's not a bank breaker, but I did like how it was centered. It's centered pretty well. A little angled, but not terrible. But this whole set is a little angled. If you really measure all these cards, they're not all straight. Most of them are angle cut. So, but it's still a really cool Allen card. And I don't have that one. And last but not least, I love O-Pee-Chee cards, and this came up for sale. Again, when a lot of these cards, like in this condition, will sell under $10, and I just like having O-Pee-Chee cards from the 70s and 80s around. They just look cool. I love the back, and it's Rock Crew Hall of Famer. It's an 8, so it's not the high grade, set registry guy kind of card. So it makes it cheap for me to buy. And so I just picked it up because I thought it was cool looking and cheap. I don't have it. And then last but not least is modern baseball. We'll go through this not real quick, but we'll go through some cards. So we'll start with the actual real modern. So I did pick up 2 Luis Arias cards. One is the Bowman Chrome rookie, or Bowman Chrome pre-rookie, and then I picked up an Inception Auto number 2, 90. I always like these silver ink autos. So, I think he's a good ball player. He, batting champ. So, to me, it's just like, hey, get a few cards of his, put him back. If he pops, I can trade him, sell him, bring him to a card show. So, they were still pretty cheap. So I grabbed these 2 in an auction. I was pretty happy about that. I picked up another Hidden Gems out of the Topps Chrome kind of multi-set insert set. So this is, this Hidden Gem sets throughout multiple Topps products. And, I want to get the Griffey. That's high on the list, but this is the Juan Soto. I picked up the Willie Mays. This is one of those sets that I may just low-key try to collect. And it's, when you see them in hand, and I don't know if it's hard to see because of you can see the shiny, like the gems that are embedded in the card. It looks cool. And I just like that it's a different kind of design. It's not just a chrome refractor with, different colors. It's got all these little gems embedded in the card, and they look just really cool when they sparkle in the light. I know it's hard for me to get it, but you can see a little bit there. And I just like the fact that it's a little different of an insert, and they're hard to pull. These are not easy pulls in these products, so pretty tough. And so number 2 on the list, or number 2 down on the checklist. So yeah, just fun card to pick up. Next up is just showing kind of what assholes eBay sellers are. So I picked up this Frank Thomas Lumberjack card. I believe it's a let's say 94, 95 Lumberjack card from Leaf, and it looks good on the front. I didn't really pay attention to it too much when it came in. I was traveling, went to the National, I just didn't really pay attention to it. And then I flipped it over in the back, and it's horribly damaged, and it's just not cool, man. It's just, I know it's not. Sorry, it's 96. I know it's not an expensive card, but it's a number to 5,000, which isn't nothing. But it's just the fact that like people sell cards like this all the time, and I know it's not easy. It's easy to catch that once you get it in hand. But with for me, I travel a lot, and I don't open packages for a couple weeks, until I get back, or I just kind of look at them seriously when I'm doing videos like this, and to find a card like that damage, it's just sucks. And oh yeah, they got the tamper seal. Like I'm gonna replace this card with a I don't know how much of a worse card you can get than this guy, which that card is horribly damaged there. So yeah, just disappointing. I mean, it's not an expensive card, but it's just sucks to get cards that have undisclosed damage on them. And then, basically be outside of the window of return, even though it's not a huge return. Next up is a card. I know it's in a taped holder it came in. It's not a huge card, but it just shows you my love for the 99 Bowman's best set. Jose Cruz Jr. was a big time rookie prospect back in this time period, especially 97, 98. He started to lose his luster by 99 and 2000, but this time he was still kind of hot. But he was hitting 240, around this time period too. So not a huge player anymore, but love these designs. I just showed you the Peyton Manning, and again, this is the base, so it's numbered out of 400. So I just like this set, and I pick them up whenever I can. And in fact, I've got more 99 Bowman's Best refractors coming in pretty soon, so you'll be seeing that. Next up is kind of a hedge card. It's 97 Pinnacle Artist Proof Derek Jeter Gold. Now, I love that card. Now, I had this card raw, and it's one of the cards I did great at the National. But this card was on eBay. I mean, an offer, a best offer on it, or it had a best offer on it. I mean, an offer. They accepted. Honestly, I don't see tons of damage on this card. I think PSA just hammers cards like this for no reason sometimes. So I'm just not, I just think that, I don't think my card's going to grade any higher. It may even grade a little lower. So to me, I want this card in an 8 or above because it's just really condition sensitive with the foil and the Dufax and everything going on in the card. This card looks really nice. I mean, I don't see any real big chipping. I don't see anything that just is a huge issue to give it an 8. So it's a very nice card, and we'll see when mine comes back graded. But if I have 2, I'll sell or trade one off, whatever. But it's a cool card, and a lot of people love that card. Next up is a huge card for my Crusade set. So this is the Green Jeter, number 68250, and you can see it's a SGC 88, which is fine. I'm building this set. I don't care if it's an 8 or 9 or 10. I just want the cards. And again, you can see how shiny, refractive those Crusades are. Some of the best looking design cards ever, in my opinion. And you can see the numbering on the back, 68250. Love that card. The only thing about this card that was negative is obviously it's a call to arms versus the other design, which I think is a little nicer. but still a really shiny, cool card that's rare. And obviously, purple or red would be more rare, but I'm just doing the base green, so it's cool to finally get the Jeter under my belt. Up next is a very cool the Griffey's, the 97's Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor. I've had this card raw as well, so this is kind of my second copy, but you can't go wrong with this refractor version. It's super shiny, super cool, and you get the die cuts, and it's a 9. So, what's not to love on this card? It's one of the coolest cards. Just when you look at it in hand, it's just, you know, it's hard to believe they made cards like this back in '97, but we don't see cards like this made today. With intricate die cuts in the middle of the card, with this cool refractor, you know, shininess. The only thing that would make this card better if it was double-sided. So, next up is again another cool design. Sorry, knocked over some cards here. This is the 1997 Stadium Club Patent Leather set. And again, these cards have a faux leather with, again, more die cuts, so you can see the die cuts there. Even more dramatic die cuts here. So it's a really condition sensitive card. It's easy damage to this card, but all those die cuts are really cool. And it's a mint 9. Pretty good grade. Not numbered, which would have helped it, but still a cool looking card. And again, a lot of leather cards were made during this time period, especially in football. So it definitely fit in with all those other, you know, Boss Hogs and all the leather cards that were being made in football. And it's a cool looking design. So from that perspective, I give it an A+. It's an awesome looking design. I don't think I've ever repeated this design as well. So it's kind of a one-off and cool looking die cuts. And speaking of die cuts, I've always loved this product and this card. The Gronks out of the 99 Skybox Dugout Access card. You know, the Gronks. It's just a cool looking card. You know, it's die cut. It was a tough pull. And it's die cut everywhere. It's die cut here, it's die cut here, it's die cut here, it's die cut here. So they really went all in on the die cuts. Not numbered. Pretty tough card. It's a 10. So that's a good grade for this card. I love PSA 10s when they don't cost tons of money. And this one didn't. I thought it was a good condition. Good value for the condition. And it's just a cool looking card. Glad to have this now in my collection. And I believe that came off of ComC. The last card definitely came from ComC. And it's actually kind of shocking I got it for the price point I did. But I don't think a lot of people still recognize that 2010 Topps Chrome is Ken Griffey Jr.'s last playing year, last playing card. So he's a Mariner as well. So there's a lot of good things to like about it. This is a gold refractor. And yes, they are numbered right here. Oh, and it is numbered out of 50. I believe it's numbered 9 out of 50. So there you go. You know, it's the CSG grade. Obviously on ComC, you know, ComC was grading through, or was using CGC, CSG exclusively for a while. Now they're opened up with PSA, so maybe this card would have been PSA'd if that was available back then. I don't like the green label. I think this card will eventually find its way into SGC or PSA holders at some point. But it's a gold refractor from Griffey's playing days, numbered to 50. And a lot of people just kind of don't know that this card exists or pay attention to it. And to me, it's a great pickup of a low-numbered Griffey card from his playing days. That's a refractor. That's gold. Just doesn't come up very often, and I think it was cool. I was able to pick it up. I would love to pick up the red as well. You know, who knows? Maybe one day I will. But there it is, guys. That's my mail day. Hope you guys like it. It's my first one after the National Collectors Convention. So I'm getting kind of back to my normal cadence. Hope you guys are enjoying the box breaks. Got more to come there as well. And I've got two huge PSA orders that I submitted at the National that should be popping in the next month or so. So I'll be updating you guys on that as well. And I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.